What is up, everyone? Back again, and this time we're going to talk about card cleaning once again. So if you've seen my weekly news video from 2 days ago, you would have seen me quickly touch on this and give you my thoughts on this, given that it's a recent talking point within the hobby. There's a few more points that I didn't touch on in that video that I want to talk through now. So basically, if you've seen that video, please stay tuned because I'm going to talk through a few other points. Now, to give you some context, a lot of this stuff has come off the back of some work that AIH Sports did, where he noticed some things that were happening with Kurt's card care as an example. And as I talk, I'm going to put things up on the screen now. And as I mentioned in my video from the other day, we need to make a distinction here between what we consider card cleaning. Now, if you look at some of the posts that Card Porn has put together and a few others on YouTube as an example, and some others on Instagram, they've basically said, are you allowed to wipe down your card? And that's where they've left the conversation. So like I said the other day, that's not the talking point here. That's not what the issue is. Yes, you can wipe down your card before you send it in for grading, right? Remove those fingerprints. The issue comes, like I said, when these guys start using chemicals, start using wax, they start doing corner repairs, they start doing edge repairs, they start doing all these things to try and alienate what the card truly represents. And a few people down in the comments were basically saying, well, Daniel, what's the difference between that and art, right? And like I gave an example for comic books the other day, they're not comparable. The reason why you can't make that comparison is because one thing is handmade by an individual from like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 plus, 100 plus years ago, okay? And you're trying to make sure that that thing is going to last a test of time. It's handmade, it's one of one, it'll never be seen again once it's gone. Cards are not that, right? Cards are mass-produced pieces of things that, we pay a premium for to get something in good grade, right? Because it goes through manufacturing process, a shipping process, it goes through being handled, being busted, all these kinds of things. We pay a premium to get a 10 because it means it means something, right? It's not the same thing. You're trying to preserve something that is mass produced as opposed to something that is a one of one. As an example, handmade by an individual, the artist is long dead. As an example, once it's gone, it's gone. It's not the same thing. And a few people down in the comments below made a few really good points where they basically said, you know what, there's a difference between cleaning and repairing, right? And like I said at the very start of the video, I'm going to put things up on the screen and you're going to see that some of this stuff is very different than just wiping down a card. They're repairing corners, they're flattening out edges, they're using chemicals and other substances, right? We don't know what the makeup of Kurt's card care liquid actually is, okay? So I'm not going to accuse him of anything, but we don't know what's in that liquid. What's it doing to the surface of the card long term? They're using wax and polish. What is that going to do to the card long term? That sort of stuff, concerns me a little bit to the point where I wouldn't buy this. Yet you see on social media, so many people are advertising that they're using it, right? I'm going to put some posts up on the screen now where you've got Kurt's card care as an example, and I feel sorry for keep putting this guy out, but he's the talking point at the moment. He's got a lot of content for me to talk to. That's why I'm doing it. You'll see that all these people are using this service openly. It's like me seeing that card. I'm not going to buy that card if I've known it's gone through that service, right? Because I don't know what work Kurt has done to it. Has he repaired the corner? Has he repaired the edges? That's not a true representation of a PSA 10 as an example to me. And it just doesn't make me feel right. And the reason why you see people so openly talk about it is because I've mentioned this before, the hobby is a little bit ignorant sometimes. Nobody's really stopping to think about what their actions actually are. They primarily care about trying to make as much money as possible, right? They want to maximize as much of the profit they can on every single card. So when they do this sort of stuff, they don't really care because they're primarily there to get the card, sell it, and then the next guy can worry about it. And you see similar things, I'm not sure, like I just mentioned, I think I did, where you see it with sports card influencers when they're at card shows making card show vlogs, and they'll talk about how, they picked up a really, really cool rookie card that they think is going to be really cool long term. They bought it for their collection, they value it superbly, and then the next day it's sold. And when they're selling it to that person, they're doing a dance, but the dance they're doing is really awkward because it's all about speculation, right? And you've got these guys saying, okay, this rookie is on the up and up. You think you should buy him. I think you can make a lot of money. He's really, really cool. I don't really want to sell it, but if you do, you're going to make a lot of money. He's a really good player. But they both know that they're telling white lies when it comes to that sort of discussion, right? Because they've both got the same thing in mind. Nobody's buying that card generally. It's not really getting into the hands of the end consumer like I've touched on in the past as well. They're just doing a dance so they can make as much money as possible so the next guy can do the same thing. That happens with this card altering stuff as well, in my opinion. It's the reason why you're seeing people be so blasé with it on Instagram and on YouTube where they're openly talking about this sort of stuff because they don't care. They're not stopping to think about what they're actually doing. The people that are buying the cards have the same mindset as them. They don't care either. They're buying that card to sell to the next person. I'd be very shocked if there's like legitimate true collectors out there, okay, set collectors that would, openly buy a card that has gone through a process like that, that's had corner repairs, it's had card flattening, it's had chemical sprayed on it. And like I said, we don't know what's in Kurt's card care's liquid, but I'm just talking in general. I'm not talking specific to him right now. We don't know what some of these guys use. Are you going to pick that over the other one, as in a card that's not been mishandled or not been altered, not been cleaned? Which one are you going to pick? I think most people would pick the one that hasn't gone through that service, if you had a choice. And like I said, if in the last video, if you're not in that realm, in the sense that you're happy to buy that card that's been handled like the way it has and like the way you've seen on the screen throughout this video, let me know your thoughts why down in the comments below. It's very weird, and it's frustrating to me how the discussion point has come down to you can't wipe down your cards before you submit them. It's like, that's really annoying. That's not the problem. The problem is, like I said, corner repairs, edge repairs, removing dimples out of cards. That stuff is ridiculous. Do you know how much polish you would have to use and how much of an abrasive cloth you would have to use to get a dimple out of a card? And I don't have any to show you now, but think of I'm sure you've got some Prism cards over the last 10 years on hand that you can go check right now where you've got like a printing dimple. How do you think you remove that from a card? You're essentially removing a surface layer. The fact that you've got people openly talk about having removed dimples to get it pushed up a grade is shocking to me. Because what's gonna happen to the card, right? They've got gloss finishes on them. What does that mean? What's that liquid going to do long term? Is that going to impact it? Maybe, maybe not. But how these graders can't spot this sort of stuff is a bit shocking to me. And like AIH Sports said as well, a lot of these card graders will have things on their website saying these things are considered altering. And a lot of the things that Kurt's Card Care does, as an example, with the flattening and corner repairs and that sort of stuff, is considered altered. You go look at their terms and services. It's considered altered. The problem is, they can't spot it. So what does that mean about these graders? It's just a really weird scenario to me. I don't think you're ever going to know for sure whether something has gone through Kurt's Card Care, as an example, or Striving for Tens, or some of these other ones. Like I said in the last video, it's up to you. I'm not going to tell you what you can and can't do. If you want to do it, go ahead and do it. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, why you feel comfortable doing it. But me personally, unless it's something purely for my PC that I want to try and get a good grade just so I can have it look cool on my shelf, I might use it. But I'm never going to do that on a card that I might sell one day. Because what if I forget to tell the person, as an example? What if the person finds out and they're not happy that I didn't disclose it? Or what if I did disclose it and then the person does something? I'm talking in circles now, but it just doesn't sit right with me. So I'm really keen to get your thoughts on this down in the comments below. I know I probably talked in circles throughout this video, so I do apologize. It's just one of those things that doesn't make much sense to me. None of these graders typically would consider this to be a card worthy of grading. Most of them would consider it altered, as I just showed you from PSA. The same sort of thing goes for BGS as well. The fact they can't spot that raises lots of questions. I just find it overall pretty shocking. I just can't believe people are openly doing this. And some of you might not understand the issues with this. And I think that just speaks to where the hobby is today. So like I said, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I'm always happy to chat through these down in the comments, as you guys know by now. Personally, this stuff doesn't sit comfortable with me, but I'm happy to try and understand why you think it does. Like I said, it's just messy. I don't think it should be around, but it looks like it's here to stay. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.